Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you wherever you are in the world. My name is Meg and welcome to my channel. My first video, I wanted to do just a really kind of quick one, a bit of my life story, a bit where I've come from, what I specialise in, what I've learned over the years, my job, everything like that, just so you kind of know a bit about me, a bit about what this channel represents or what I'm going to be bringing to you, my background and knowledge, so that you know that I know what I'm talking about and how I got to where I am now. So I am a yoga teacher, a masseuse and a holistic beautician. So what that means is I don't do so much of the kind of nails and the lashes and the brows and waxing, although I am trained in that and I do that as part of my job. That is part of my living. What I tend to specialize in is more like facials and like almost more of your spa treatments. What I really love is kind of health and wellness, skincare, ingredients in products, more of the natural side. I like improving what you already have rather than trying to add something you haven't got. I think that's probably the best way I'd put it. Yeah, if somebody came to me and they sort of they wanted their nails to look better, instead of whacking an extension on and doing an acrylic nail or something like that, I would recommend they look at like their lifestyle and their nail care and starting to use hand cream, and if they're biting their nails, for example, then trying to figure out, you know, why and try and get them out of that so they naturally have longer, healthier, stronger nails, rather than just putting an extension on. Anyway, I'm kind of going off piece here, but that's kind of what a holistic beautician is. I look at more of the holistic side, the natural health and wellness side. I also specialise in massage, so I am Thai massage trained and sports massage, aromatherapy, Swedish. I've been massaging since I was about 16, 17 years old, and when I started my old job, which I was at for about 5 years, I would massage for like 8 hours a day. So I got very, very good, and I practiced and practiced and practiced. Ended up specialising in kind of your deep tissue side of things, rather than the more relaxing side, although I enjoy doing that as well. So that's why I specialise in massage a lot. And then over the past couple of years, I have become a yoga teacher. So my uncle owns a studio in Norfolk and he wanted a yoga teacher, and he knew I'd always been interested in it and kind of dipped in and out of it for years and years. I used to be a dancer and a synchronized swimmer as well, so I've always loved that sort of, I guess I call it like artistic or creative sports. So he asked me if I would train to be a yoga teacher. I said yes, got my qualifications, and I have been teaching for a couple of years now. I am obsessed with it. I literally do yoga pretty much every single day. I have classes myself because we're always growing, we're always learning, and I teach as well. So I guess where did it all begin? It actually all started with a book which my aunt bought me, which was this one here, which I've still got to this day. If you have like children or anyone who's younger, any younger people who are kind of getting interested in beauty, or if you are a young person and you're starting to become interested in it, I'm talking kind of ages maybe 12 to 15, this is the book for you. It will teach you everything in a kind of a safe way. So I learned so much from this book. Like how to distinguish different spots that come up on my skin, how to figure out kind of what my skin type was, using the tissue method. So you just get some bathroom tissue and you pop it on your skin, and then that way, you know, when you're younger and you're starting to get interested in skincare, you know which products are going to more likely be better for your skin, because you've got an idea of what skincare or what type of skin you have, rather than just going on TikTok and seeing what so-and-so is using and that works for them, so it must work for you. Skincare doesn't really work like that. So everything's a bit unique. It taught me, I can remember there's a piece in here, or a little page in here, talking about the difference between using cheap shampoos and more expensive shampoos, and I ended up doing a presentation for my mum because she was buying really cheap shampoos, and I made like a half an hour long presentation on PowerPoint on why you should buy slightly more expensive shampoos. So I was always obsessed with it. It's good for ingredients as well. I think that's where my initial obsession with ingredients that are in products came from, because they talk a little bit about SLS, parfum, the ingredients that we all know are not the best for our skin, and they're drying, or they have these chemicals have different side effects to them that are very cleverly hidden in packaging from beauty products. That book is fantastic. So that's where it all kind of began. From there, I kind of became a little bit obsessive with learning the Latin on products and learning the ingredients and what they do and how they work and what is better for your skin and what isn't. I was a child who had extremely sensitive skin. I always had eczema and psoriasis coming up. I was always quite interested in using products that were a little bit more natural, because I can remember using, my mum had a hand cream, and I thought it was a Sanctuary Spa one, and it had ginger in it, and I thought it would be a good idea to put it on my face, and it literally burnt and my face went like a tomato. So I always found it really interesting to have, or to use more natural skincare and to use more natural ingredients. That's where that kind of started. I'm also the oldest of 4, so I've got 2 younger siblings, and then I've got a little brother. So I've always thought it was very important to kind of be a good role model for them. That's always been a really important thing for me. They are the best things ever. I love my siblings to pieces. I'm very fortunate, and I love being the oldest, but I definitely take on a lot of responsibility with that. So yeah, this is another reason why I wanted to have a channel, because I wanted them to be able to go somewhere and to find somebody who is easy to follow, and I didn't have that growing up. I was a perfectionist. Growing up, I never quite understood why I didn't look like a model, or, I mean, I like I said, I was very nervous. I actually used to pull out my eyelashes and my eyebrow hairs. Now I'm older, and now I've done my qualifications, I know that is, I can't remember the long name for it, but the shorthand name for it is Tritch, and it is an actual condition. And I was, yeah, very nervous, used to pull at them all the time. I literally had no eyelashes and no eyebrows. So I got over that, and yeah, and growing up I got a lot of kind of the puppy fat stage I went through, and I never understood when I was about, I look back now and I was only about 11, and I couldn't understand why I didn't look like a supermodel, and why I was chubby, and why I had, you know, greasy hair. And now I'm older, I know that that's just part of growing up, and you grow up and out of it, and that's just a small tiny part, like a drop in the ocean of your life. But I ended up getting so worked up about the way that I looked that I ended up getting anorexia, and I was really poorly with that. Nearly went into hospital. I had to take a year out of school on like complete bed rest. But that was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it made me realise how precious life is, and how important it is to look after yourself and your health, and put yourself first a little bit more, I guess. And I was so heavily influenced by the media when I was younger, that I think that had such a big part to play in why I ended up going down that road and ended up going through that, was because I was, you know, I used to dance, like I said. I was a synchronized swimmer. I was swimming as well anyway. I was playing rugby back then, I think I was. Might have been a bit older. There were so many things I was doing. Like, I was playing music. I was like a busy child. I was not one of those kids that just sat around eating food all day and sat on their bum playing games. I was always out. Because I had siblings and next door neighbours that were the same age as me, I was always out in the garden. I was always playing. So I just could not understand. Now I know why. It's because you go through a puppy fat stage, but I couldn't understand why, you know, I was eating healthily, and I was exercising, that then developed into, right, that's it, I'm not going to eat, I'm just not going to eat anything, and I got very, very tiny. But like I said, I think the media was one of the biggest influences for that, and that's partly why I wanted to create a channel where I felt like younger people can look at somebody who's been through stuff and sees that there is the other side. And I think there's a lot of unhealthy things in the media, even now to this day. I think that there's a lot in the media that it's very easy to look at other people's lives and look at how their bodies are and their skin or this or that, and you think, oh, why do I not look like that, or why have I not got that? And it can be really hard. So, and my sisters were kind of growing up, I wanted them to have a place and a space where they could maybe not ask me directly, but they can ask a question and get an answer. And the same goes for anybody else who, you know, maybe doesn't have a big sister or a big sibling who can talk them through things like how to shape your eyebrows, and don't use a razor to shape your eyebrows, and or don't try and perm your eyelashes at home, and all these things that, yeah, you do try when you're younger, you experiment, because you don't have the money to go and buy skincare products, and you don't have the knowledge to know what is okay to do and what isn't, and how you don't have the knowledge to know how to do things properly. Like I see a lot of people wax from home and then they burn themselves because the wax is too hot, or they bruise themselves because they pulled outwards with the wax strip instead of ripping it across, and all these little things that when you go to college and when you do it professionally, you know it, so you can tell people how to do it. But if you haven't been given that professional knowledge, you're not necessarily always going to end up with the best outcome. That's why I wanted to create that from the beauty side, because I wanted people to have a space, have a place where if they had a question or they wanted to do something, there was somebody who has the credentials, has the knowledge, has the training, who does it all day, every day for a living, who can then tell you how to do it safely. That's why I wanted to do that from the beauty side. From the yoga side, I absolutely love yoga, so I just wanted a channel where people can learn about the philosophies and the history behind yoga. I think it's quite difficult, especially in the Western world, to learn that. A lot of people just think that yoga is a physical thing, and it absolutely is not at all. Yoga has a very rich, in-depth history. The whole history and philosophy behind it is incredible and fascinating, that people created what we know today as yoga and how it's evolved over time, and it's a lovely process. And I think that the people who invented it and what yoga really is, it's all in the mind, that needs to be taught, and people need to know that more than the asana practice. So that was why I wanted to bring yoga to the channel, because I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and I want you guys to have some videos that you can take home with you and you can use outside of the studio to strengthen your practice, and maybe even teach you a little bit as well. So for example, if your lower back is hurting, instead of going, oh no, I don't know what to do, you can go, oh, well, I know that this pose will help my lower back and this pose will help my lower back because I watched it on one of Meg's videos. So it's so that you can help yourselves as well. The nutrition side of things, when I was 17, I worked, I had the honour, to be honest, of working with one of the most incredible ladies I've ever worked with in my life. She was a stage 4 cancer patient with cancer in her breast, her lung, and I think in her liver as well. So I was just 17 when I worked for her, and at this point I was obsessing with like skincare. I wasn't really worried about what you put into your body, it was more about what you're putting onto your skin, because that was what I'd been taught. And as soon as I met her, just like everything kind of shifted, everything linked for me in that point, because the chemo and radiotherapy wasn't working for her. So she basically was told, like, there's nothing we can do for you and you're terminal. And then she came across a book called The Gerson Therapy and decided to follow that, which is basically where you turn your body into a fighting machine and you take as many toxins out of your life as you physically can, so your body focuses on fighting the cancer in your body rather than the toxins that it's not trying to process the toxins, it's trying to fight the cancer. It was probably the most fascinating couple of years in my entire life. I loved it, and everything I learned has never left me, and I live by what I learned from that every day and have done ever since. I'd go in and I'd make all these different juices and sort out her supplements for her and clean and sort of sort everything out ready for her, but it meant I had to learn the Gerson therapy so that I knew what times she needed everything, and it also meant that I learned the reasons why she was doing everything, and that was absolutely fascinating. I hope you enjoy these videos as much as I've enjoyed making them and editing them, and if you've got any questions at all, you can message me. I'm on TikTok and I'm on Instagram as well, and I've also got my website. I think I'm going to start a blog on there soon, so I'll be typing things up. That might not come for a little while, but yeah, if you ever have any questions or want me to do a video on something, drop me a message. I'll more than happily answer your questions, try and get back to you as quick as possible, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks, bye.